Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris, and thank you for joining me on a little impromptu episode of Strategy with Jason. I'm literally getting myself packed for NADA, and I was talking to my good buddy, Mike Boyd. That's right, from Repair OnDemand. And I'm like, Mike, you should come on. Let's chat real quick. And he's like, Jason, we're like leaving tomorrow. I said, I know, but let's do it. So, hey, for everybody out there watching and listening, Mike, how are you? Thanks for coming on. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me back. Yeah, no, I'm always excited to speak with you. And yes, it is the crunch, right? Right before NADA, everybody's making sure, well, now because of all the weather, making sure we have flights. So that's number one.
I know.
Making sure that you're packed, you have everything ready to go in your team, and all the millions of things you have to do to have a successful NADA.
It is a lot of little pieces always have to kind of go into it. And for everybody out there, if you're watching this while you're traveling right now, hey, good luck. Here's the thing. I know you'll make it. If it doesn't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow. You got a little time. Don't stress out about it too much. I've been on, I don't know about you, Mike, but I've got a few phone calls this morning. I'm going, Mike, my flight's been canceled. It's been trans. I think you had one that even got pushed back, right?
Yeah. I've got delayed a little bit, so nothing major.
Okay.
A good friend of mine, I was telling you, he had his flight canceled, and he was supposed to fly out tomorrow, so he had to scramble, take an alternate flight, and now he's driving 5.5 hours. So a shout out to Micah Tindor out there for making the huge drive to make it to NADA.
You know what, Mike, I think there's going to be a few more stories like that. I know even one of my teammates, theirs got canceled. They're having to drive 3.5 hours to Chicago so they can make a flight from there now. I think we're going to hear a fair amount of those kind of conversations. But, look, I know everyone's going to make it. We're going to get there. We're all going to have cocktails together.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I pulled up the live camera today of Bourbon Street just because of all the snow.
Right?
I'm looking at it, and it was hilarious because there's like 6 people in the middle of Bourbon Street having a snow fight. I mean, how often does that happen?
Dude, I don't know New Orleans too well. I've only been there a few times, but I can't imagine that's like a normal thing. Like having a snowball fight.
Not a normal.
Now, if you're out there watching and listening, and you are going to go to Bourbon Street and have a snowball fight, don't eat the yellow snow.
No, especially on Bourbon Street. Actually, just do not eat anything on Bourbon Street.
Even if it's brown, don't eat it.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Just play it safe.
Can you imagine? I can't imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Mike, man, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here and just talk NADA and the dealer vendor mixer party we're going to be hosting and stuff.
Really excited about
a lot of cool stuff. But, look, this isn't your first rodeo. I think you said this is number 8, 7?
I believe it's number 7.
Number 7. And
they creep up on you.
They do. Now, I find personally myself, it's kind of like sensory overload sometimes. Like there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to take in. I'm curious, do you have any tips and tricks for anybody out there that's coming to the show to kind of help them navigate and make sure they get what they're looking to get out of the show?
Absolutely. So there's 2 sides of the fence, right? So you have the dealer side and you have the vendor side. So like my first NADA, and actually I think the 2 after that, within the first day, I had lost my voice because you're speaking to so many people and you're just so excited. Like you said, it's sensory overload. So for the vendors out there, pace yourself, right? Drink lots of water. Do not over caffeinate. It is a wonderful experience. It is a great, it's almost like a reunion because you get to see all the other vendors that you haven't connected with in forever. You get to reconnect with all your dealer friends. Same thing for the dealers, pace yourself. Biggest advice I would give to dealers is highlight. So you have the exhibitor list and go through and really look at the software providers you have and really think about how happy you are with the service you're getting, and then also look for gaps, right?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of opportunity right now, and the software's changing, and there's so many different things you can look at, and especially in ADA, there's 6 million things you can look at.
Tons.
So then go to the exhibitor list and look up those solutions that fit into that category. So like reconditioning software. Pull up Repair 360 and absolutely, earmark booth 237 for a visit so you can see everything that's new, because that's the other thing NADA is the huge launch point for almost every company to highlight their newest innovation. What are they bringing to market
100%.
to make sure that, we're really wowing the dealer and showing how we're pushing the envelope.
No, look, I'm totally with you. And, I think just to kind of elaborate a little bit on what Mike kind of said there too, is dealers, if you're out there and you're visiting with some of the vendors, bring a notebook. Like I seriously, here we go. Here's mine. All right. Here's the thing. You're going to come in with all good intentions of remembering everything that everybody said.
Right.
It ain't going to happen. Bring a notebook, take as many notes as you can. Now, when I do vendor shopping, I like to break my notes out into a couple different categories. Your vendors are look, they're your partners at the end of the day,
If you do it right.
Right. If you pick it right, 100%, Mike, you're totally onto it. So if you're finding a good partner, they should be able to articulate how they're going to partner up with your people, your process, and even the other technologies that you're currently using inside of it. Would you agree, Mike? Do you have anything to add?
No, 100%. So I get asked that a lot. What is the top thing you look for a vendor partner? Because they really are a partner, because you're only successful if you're both getting something out of it.
Exactly.
You want to work with them, you want to build that relationship, and you want a long-term healthy relationship. The number one thing is, how are you going to work with my team? And then how is the dealer going to work on the team? So really, I challenge my sales team and my implementation and training team that I'm looking for long-term relationships.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to push them. They're paying us to push them to excel. And sometimes that can be a little uncomfortable, but you have to earn that trust that you're not just pushing them for fun. Now, the same thing, they have to feel comfortable, your dealer partner, to be able to push back against you and ask questions. And usually that's what it is. It's just, they need clarification. They need to really understand, why am I doing? What's going to be the ROI? Why am I going through this pain? So yeah, definitely look at it from that perspective, and that's what helps you, insulate against churn and your people not adopting.
Yeah, and I've seen this play out like really well too. Like, dealers, I'll give you just one more piece of advice. The best thing you can do is come in with a good objective, and just say, hey, like a real operational objective. Like, hey, I want to, I'm looking to really kind of increase maybe my CP ROs by 22%, over the next 6 months. And I understand that that's not one company that's going to help me. There's going to be multiple companies, but what can you do, vendor, to assist in some portion of that objective?
Yes.
And because here's what I find, Mike, and you've probably seen this too. I see a lot of let's call it featured benefit vomit. Like here's 62 things that we do.
Yes. No, absolutely. So yeah, that's a wonderful point. So again, going back to a conversation, it's NADA week, so
Yes.
a million conversations and meetings, right? Because we want to make sure we bring our A game. And when you talk about feature benefit, one of the main things I say, look, it's only a feature and a benefit if the dealer truly understands the problem you're solving and
There you
why
go.
that's applicable to them. Something a dealer told me years ago, it was a dealership owner, and he said something that was very profound. And we were talking about NADA and all the different vendors. He said, Mike, if I did the math that I hear walking around, if I wanted to increase my business by 800%, all I have to do is buy 8 different products.
Oh, yes. There we go.
And I'm like, that's actually profound. So I asked him, I said, so what do you really look for when you go to talk to different technologies? Not only to spot check what you already have to make sure that's the best and the right one for you, but also, what is the newest and greatest? He said, I really want the vendor to explain to me how they're going to partner with me, right? How they're going to work through the adoption period and what they're going to do to make sure that my team understands and that we succeed. But then realistically, what kind of ROI, what type of time period, am I going to see X in 30 days, X in 60 days, whatever that number is. And then I look for reality. I don't need the pie in the sky. I understand there's going to be some rub, there's going to be some change management, but I want a dealer partner that understands that and is just talking to me.
Well, they understand the business, right?
They understand the business and understand a lot more than just, feature benefit. Well,
no, dude. I'm glad we're going down this rabbit hole because this is a great. I haven't articulated it this way, and I think this is really, really, really valuable. Right? I think you're going to expect to hear a lot of use cases for a product or solution. And dealers, don't be afraid to push back on the vendors. And because if they're truly going to be a partner, they should be able to provide you, well documented business cases, right? And those business cases should be like, okay, I put X amount of dollars into the machine. After so many months of working, I'm seeing X amount of dollars back out of the machine.
Yeah.
Like it should be that way, don't you think?
No, absolutely. So that's a real partnership. It's not
Yes.
just saying you're going to see this benefit, you're going to see this benefit. Tell me when. Tell me why I'm going to see that benefit. Tell me how this connects to my other solutions. And they need to be able to understand that push and pull, because one thing, and I've been doing this now 30 years, 25 years at the dealership level, that there's so many different systems at a dealership that we engage with just to conduct the business of buying, reconditioning, and selling cars. And they need to interplay, right?
Yes.
They need to push and pull information. They need to complement the other solutions you have, or that in itself will become a hindrance to growth. So how does that fit into what I'm doing, but how is it going to improve my game, and how is it going to improve my team? And what can I expect? Just like you said, right? Really, what am I, at the end of the day, what am I going to expect? What am I going to see?
No. Look, guys, and look. When I was a dealer, I'm gonna admit I've done this before. Okay, I go to NADA? Did I buy into some jazz fingers and like some really cool use cases? And I'm like, well, that's a good idea, And don't get me wrong, some good ideas can turn into great, phenomenal business opportunities, but you just always got to stress test yourself a little bit. Like, if it sounds like a good idea, they should be able to substantiate that good idea with a business case. Hey, Mike, for everybody that's going to be visiting booth 8237.
Yes.
Did I do it right? Okay.
Good memory. That's right.
8237. For anybody out there watching and listening who would love to come by that booth, what can they expect to learn when they come by?
Yeah. So this year is really, there's so much going on. So as normal, acquisition is always top of mind, but really more so this year because of everything that happened with the lack of availability of cars and how that's really playing out today. So we have a lot of information about our Blue Driver Max, or OBD2 device, how that's actually now part of Repair 360, our reconditioning plan. So you can actually scan your car as part of your acquisition and appraisal, and that information helps you start a plan right away.
That's cool.
And plus give you the information to be more accurate on your appraisals. We have an integration with Viato that we're debuting as part of the new enhanced appraisal. And of course, we are partnered with AccuTrade, the same thing, to empower better appraisals and provide that information to the dealer at that time of inception, right? When they're looking to buy it or looking to take and trade. So that way you can start, putting the dealer on the money right away. Give them a lot of information they never had access to. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Then it's really when we talk about the interplay and the connectivity. So when you think about reconditioning, it's not just a reconditioning process, it's resource management. So that's why I really try to avoid the terms like bottlenecks and try to use the term constraints, because if you change your mindset from a bottleneck to a constraint, you start to look at the people you engage with a little bit differently. Are they helping your process or not? So inside of Repair 360, our reconditioning tool, you'll start to see things like production goal tracking. That's probably what I'm most excited about. That's actually being able to look at your teams, your external vendors, and even your internal people, and start to align their efforts to real expectations so they can start to self-manage. And that, to me, is a game changer. That allows the dealership to really understand that, hey, I'm not yelling at Mike because he can't do 5 cars a day when realistically 2.5 cars is, he's really over exceeding. I need to hire another Mike.
Well, it's the level of transparency. I mean,
it is, right. And it's that time attribution that really highlights the opportunity, because so many, reconditioning tools out there are just showing you like, red, green, yellow. But then as you speed up, the more cars you buy, the more backed up you get, because you really don't understand how to right size your reconditioning process. You don't know how many mics you need, or how many PR people, or how many detail people. VIN tracker. So now, I've always been a huge proponent of understanding that there's 2 interested parties at the dealership. You have the sales, and then you have the fixed ops, right? They have to work together, part of the same family, but there's always been a real rub and disconnect.
Of course.
So putting each of them, firmly in the space they're most comfortable with. Like with Repair 360, understanding and being able to speak the language that your fixed ops teams speak and give them the information in a way they can digest, but then at the same time, giving your sales team and allowing them to concentrate on buying and selling more cars. So that's where like the VIN tracker, that's being able to look at all of your reconditioning information inside any website that you're on. So if you're inside your Viato account, Carfax, your own website, you'll be able to see your vehicle's reconditioning plan and be able to engage with the consumer in a more meaningful way. And then, of course, I can keep going on. The other real big thing that kind of ties in, because they're all interconnected,
For sure.
is the cost and accuracy tracker for acquisition.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge.
So if you remember, I was saying with Blue Driver, you're able to do better reconditioning estimates, start plans faster, have that information at the time that you need it. Well, then once you take that vehicle in, I want to really be able to measure back how we're performing in our reconditioning process, and are we missing the mark? Did we really execute against that plan as part of the appraisal? So
I love that, because it puts a real data strategy behind something that has always kind of been it's going to be somewhere around here.
We're going to range that. I do not want to fail to mention. So of course, I'm the managing director for Repair 360 and Recon Pro. So we have roughly about 17,000 external third-party vendors using our software to manage their business. But it's not connected to the dealerships that they're servicing. So there's a real disconnect, right? That's why you get into a lot of those just rough estimates. So we're debuting the Repair Exchange. So we started talking about this last year. We're actually debuting that as part of Repair 360 this year, where all of those, 17,000 roughly third-party vendors, they are already doing work at your dealership that are using software more sophisticated than what you use to manage their business. Now, users of Repair 360 will be automatically connected into their accounts.
That's awesome.
So that way they can, see work in real time, receive notifications, have time and price expectations, handle supplements, and also be able to handle invoicing too. So that way you can track the money.
So you mean my old school like WhatsApp group with all of my paint guys and my dent guys, and then
I wish that was old school
guys and all these guys. I mean, I can actually bring them into one ecosystem now.
Yes. And the beauty is, the bane of any software is adoption.
Right. Yes.
The best software in the world, but if nobody uses it, it just doesn't do any good. The easiest way to train somebody on a piece of software is tap into the software they're already familiar in using.
I love that model.
So, that's one of the biggest rubs is, 40 to 60% of your reconditioning plan is usually sublet or third-party vendors. Well, now let's leverage those roughly 17,000 that are already using the software and connect up in a meaningful way. So that way you can do your job and then connect with them so they can do theirs. Everybody's in a sweet spot.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, there is a fun aspect to NADA. I mean, the booth. Look, I encourage anybody out there watching and listening. You really do have to come by booth 8237. What Mike and the entire team, and you do have a really deep level team. I mean, the amount of knowledge and understanding of the fixed ops department is insanely impressive.
Absolutely.
And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you kind of looking at not just an aspect of it, but looking at the entire thing as an ecosystem. And really just I'm excited for this year. I'm excited to see what you guys continue to do moving forward. And anybody out there watching, I definitely encourage you to come by the booth. But speaking of fun, we are going to have some fun. We're hosting together the dealer vendor mixer, all right, which is going to be an epic party. I think we have 400 or 500 people already registered. I think the last number was actually 400.
Yeah,
400.
It'll be really good.
It's gonna be great, right? You looking forward to it, Mike?
Oh, I'm very much looking forward to that, because you put in so much effort. You're really making the most at NADA, and of course, it excites me to connect with the dealers and connect with the other vendors. Because it really is like a reunion, but it's very enthusing. But then to also, after the day is done, to be able to have a cocktail and then just mix on a personal level, that to me is one of the biggest underutilized aspects of it.
And boy, will there be cocktails. There won't only just be cocktails. There will be a bourbon and cigar lounge.
I'm looking forward to the bourbon.
Me and you right there, man, right up top. We're grabbing those bourbon cigars. And then we have oysters. We have crawfish by the pound. It's the first time that I've ever done a party where it wasn't just like a cater per person. No, it was a per pound. I can't tell you how many hundreds of pounds of
Hey, it is Nollins.
ordered
The
for
way they do it in Nollins.
it's right. And so there has to be food. An amazing jazz band. We're talking about a band that's got deep roots in the music scene up there. So I'm so excited about the band. Then we also got prizes. We're giving away $3,500.
Yeah, I thought that was a typo when I saw that.
Did you see that? I know, right?
I was like, wait a minute, how much?
Dude, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean,
You had me at bourbon and cigars, and now you're giving away that level of
It's
money too.
I know.
It's going to be it really will be an exciting party.
and there is still a few tickets left. Not a much, but a few. I believe you guys will have some at the booth
Absolutely.
Friday morning.
Yeah,
right?
come visit, see what we have. Ask questions. I love to meet dealers and talk shop. Let's talk about what kind of pain points you have and what we do and how we may be able to help you. And worst case, we walk away as friends. Hey, we might just walk away and then end up having bourbon and cigars together.
Crawfish. I don't know about you, but like I'm gonna suck on the head. I am. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not. No, that's it. I'll pass them over to you.
I'll take them from you. But
Yeah.
when you're in New Orleans, don't you do it the New Orleans? Okay. Anyways, all right. I'm gonna try one. Watch out, guys. There'll definitely be a video of me and Mike doing some crawfish.
And you may be able to talk me into it about halfway through.
Yeah. Let me get just a couple of bourbons.
Depending on the bourbon and how good the jazz is, but I'm guessing the jazz will get incrementally better the more bourbon I have. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. It's hand in hand. Well, hey, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time to come jam with me today. I am super excited about, literally tomorrow. We're flying out tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
We're excited to see everybody there. Make sure that you guys swing by booth 8237. Say hi to the team, learn a little bit. Come make sure Friday morning they'll have a few passes. I don't know how many more we have left, but I know there is a handful out there. Make sure come by, grab a handful of the passes. The party starts at 4. It goes to 7. It is just going to be really fun. So you'll still have time to go out for dinner later that evening if you want to, or you can just continue to follow me. I'll be in an orange suit, and I'm literally just going to be bouncing from every single party.
Two things I didn't mention, just to let the dealers know, we're actually debuting so many new enhancements that just for coming out and doing a demo and talking shop, you actually will receive a $100 Amazon gift card.
Holy crap, there we go.
For an e-bike. So we want to meet dealers. We want to show what we have. We're very proud of it.
You heard it, guys. Look, we're giving you all kinds of reasons to come by 8237. Say hi to Mike and the whole team over there. Grab a pass to the DVM. The DVM is going to be crazy. We can hold 600 people inside there. My objective is to get to over 600 people, so the fire department tells us to start kicking people out. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, Mike, thanks so much for taking the time to jam with me. And for everybody out there watching and listening, we will see you literally tomorrow.
See you in Nollins.
See ya. Bye.